This episode of Stories Inside the Mag Day podcast is brought to you by our friends and family at Honest Plumbing and Air. And you can get in touch with them pretty quick. Just visit that website on the lower left-hand side of your screen, honestairconditioning.biz. Honest Plumbing and Air, where a handshake still means something. And that handshake does mean something extremely valuable when doing business. So give our folks out at Honest Plumbing and Air a shout for all of your HVAC and plumbing needs. And do so for your AC before we get to that Texas summer heat, which is literally a few weeks away. Hey, listen, I had a reunion at my alma mater, Stephen F. Austin, wearing the shirts representing the purple and white. A true lumberjack. Well, one of my lumberjack brothers is a Hall of Famer in the city of Philadelphia, and will soon be an NFL Hall of Famer at some point. I don't want to project it, but he is one of the men who I will always remember because he brought the ferocity to the game. Extremely good linebacker, and he was a All-American type linebacker at Stephen F. Austin. Made his first return to Stephen F. Austin in quite some time because he was busy. He had an incredible NFL career, and now he's just playing the role of dad, entrepreneur, and he's the subject of this episode or installment of Let's Talk About It. Wow. Jeremiah Trotter gave all that stump of wood could handle. That was at my college alma mater, Stephen F. Austin. Jeremiah Trotter returned for the spring game recently, or this past weekend, and Kobe Carthel, the head football coach at Stephen F. Austin, and that administration there, they have done a good job of reconnecting with the alumni and former players. And Jeremiah Trotter agreed to come back. He, and along with Larry Centers, another lumberjack great, they both returned for the spring game. When I was in school, I was doubling in the media and as a student. And Jeremiah Trotter was forever one of my lumberjack brethren. He was one of the best linebackers to ever play at Stephen F. Austin. So good that the Hooks, Texas native left after his junior season to enter the NFL draft. And he was selected third in the third round by the Philadelphia Eagles. He returned to the spring game, as did I, but I was definitely not the focus. And that's where we're going to bring in Jeremiah Trotter, the VIP guest of honor on this installment of Let's Talk About It. All right, we've had a lot of esteemed guests on the Stories Inside the Man Cave podcast, but, we never had a Hall of Famer or someone that has built his own nickname, Axeman, did in the NFL with the Eagles. And did that all start where you're from, Hooks, Texas, or did you develop that here at Stephen F. Austin?
No, it started with my upbringing, chopping wood growing up in East Texas. And, once I made my name, I started to make my name in NFL. I kind of wanted to do something that represented me, and I started doing the axe chop. But it's ironic though. Somebody when I was in NFL, they was like, "Yo, what was y'all mascot?" I said, "We're the Lumberjacks." It's ironic that I was
fitting.
It's fitting, right? So it was meant to be.
Axeman. See, you can see why. See, in Hooks, Texas, I think an hour and a half north of Nacogdoches, essentially in northeast Texas, Jeremiah grew up around the lumber industry. And he clearly knows how to swing that axe and does it with precise talent, a man of many talents. Jeremiah Trotter is not only a former football great, the guy is an entrepreneur and really just a great human being. In our conversation, We made that transition from him being how he earned the nickname of Axeman to, his time at Stephen F. Austin. You see, when he played in Philly, he played for Philadelphia 3 times in his career, highly respected, highly regarded, and he's a member of the Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Fame recently, here in the last 2 years, and was inducted into the Eagles Hall of Fame. Well, during his time at Stephen F. Austin, the 1995 team was his freshman season. Stephen F. Austin advanced all the way to the Final Four of what was 1AA then, now the football championship subdivision, lower Division I. Great year. So they had to play Montana. At Montana. Think about that. In the month of December, you think about the climate in Missoula, Montana. Well, Philadelphia, in which he spent the majority or most of his NFL career, it's cold there in Philly. But during our time this past weekend at the spring game, he was talking to a former SFA quarterback, James Ritchie, and they were talking about that time, that game against Montana. Stephen F. Austin, a team with I want to say 11 guys on that team were on NFL rosters after their eligibility, including Trotter. Well, it was so cold that day, so cold, very cold, ice, snow, in between the mountains. And Trotter was talking about comparing the cold in Missoula versus the cold in Philly. There's a difference.
What was different? I can talk about it, but the people watching, that was brutally cold.
The temperature was different. Missoula, it get colder in Philly, in the wintertime. But, man, Missoula was a different type of cold, right? It was a different type of cold. So, it's definitely by far, it's not even a close second compared to how cold it was in Missoula.
What was it? 2 below zero.
They said
snow on the ground.
They said it warmed up to 4 degrees.
There's a reason why I didn't make that trip.
Yeah.
Now, the score was 70-14, Montana. Montana ended up winning the national championship that year at 1AA. But the score didn't indicate how good SFA was. Did not at all, because it was so cold. Those Trotter and the Lumberjacks, you think about it, you play at 4 degrees, ice, snow, and a frozen field for the most part, and it negated all of Stephen F. Austin's speed. But Montana was a great team, and they are a tradition-rich program at that level. Well, coming back to SFA, Trotter wants to help. He wants to be a guy who's visible to help the program, especially in this NIL era, and get the program back on track. Colby Carthel does a great job, and that staff. There's a lot of talent on that team. So that was our next item on the conversation of bringing this program back and what Trotter thinks about the current Stephen F. Austin program.
What do you see? What do you see in this program compared to the eyes when you were here growing up as a young man?
Man, the program is in good hands, man. It's in good hands. I see guys that's passionate. I see a head coach that's doing whatever it takes to navigate his way through this whole NIL deal to try to take care of his players and keep his players here. And then on top of that, a great coaching staff going out recruiting top talent, man. And so he's doing whatever he needs to do, whatever is necessary to keep pace with this growing NIL world. And all this stuff is still relatively new right now. So, I just wanted to come back, man. I hadn't been back in a while. It gets tough when you're out of town, but I wanted to come back and just show my support.
And that's what I love about Trot. He's always been candid, uses humor, just a personable guy, but he keeps it real, very real. He and Michael Ricks, a receiver for Stephen F. Austin, both drafted in that second to fourth round of the NFL draft. So 2 guys from the same team drafted very early in the NFL draft that year. But it was good to see him back. And I know it meant a lot to those kids, the current Lumberjacks. It meant a lot to SFA supporters, alumni like myself. Trot got to coach, the team for the spring game split in half. He coached one team, and Larry Centers, another NFL great, Lumberjack great, coached the other team. And they decided it by a game at midfield it was so close, rock, paper, scissors. Let's talk about Trot, the dad. He has two sons, Jeremiah Jr. and Josiah Trotter. Josiah playing at the University of Missouri, and then Jeremiah Jr. last year, the Philadelphia Eagles traded up to draft the linebacker from Clemson. I want you to watch Trotter as he talks about being a dad. Very proud, prideful in that title, father.
You've got one young man that just drafted, fitting, going to Eagles. That's a God thing. And then you have your youngest one. He's about to experience that.
Right.
I mean, just tell me a little bit about you being the father and navigating all that.
Man, it's just I'm just enjoying the moment, right? I'm enjoying the moment. I did my part. I've coached them from the time they were little through high school, and I still, we still watch film together time to time. But right now, I'm just enjoying being a dad, man, and just enjoying that process, seeing how God is gonna move them throughout their careers and elevate them and put them in a position to be successful, and just enjoying that.
Brother, I appreciate you.
All right, no problem. Anytime.
All right.
Love the interview. I love seeing the glow of a proud father or even a proud mom. And speaking of, really sad story. Jeremiah's wife, the mother of Jeremiah and Josiah, Tammy Trotter, passed away 2 years ago. Lost her battle with breast cancer, which is a disease very near me. Sensitive subject. My ex-wife, two-time survivor, still very good friends. She beat breast cancer twice, but it's a hard subject. And I briefly mentioned it to Jeremiah and how he's handled this to be a better father and be a great father, because he always has been. But that's a tough subject to discuss. And for all you ladies out there, please, your maintenance, your breast exams, everything, please be proactive. Hey, thank you to Jeremiah, and thank you to Stephen F. Austin, the football program. So kind, so welcoming always. And for Jeremiah, man, I'm so proud of you. And thank you for now being a part of the Stories Inside the Man Cave podcast fraternity, so to speak. So whenever you get an opportunity to talk about Stephen F. Austin football and Jeremiah Trotter and the great dad that he is, and his two sons and his entire family, it's always good to talk about it.